Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is China, or Chai. If you are back for more, hello, thank you for coming back. And we are doing our March reading wrap up. Yay! Honestly, I have to say, March was a great month. These are all the physicals that I read this month, along with all the Kindle books that I read. And so we're gonna go through them. I'm excited to tell you guys about what I read. I really found some really good stuff to read. I have my turtle tips with me, and so yeah, let's get on with the video. I read 6 physical books and I read 7 Kindle books. I did read 2 novellas, but I'm going to still add those into the video as well. So we'll get on with the first one. So the first book I read in March was a book that I got graciously given to me by Hachette, and I was so... The way I literally screamed and giggled when I got out of the post office from seeing this box, I was so giddy. And it is The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. This is the 3rd book in the Campus Diaries. It is the 3rd and final book in this series. So it follows Charlie, Will and Beckett, MFM's sports college romance. Charlie has never done anything before with in terms of the spicy time, so it's obviously an MFM. I'm pretty sure I did give the Charlie Method 4.5 stars, and I would say it would be like a 2 chili spice. I heard a lot of people didn't like that it was MFM, but to me I felt like it worked. I thought that having Will and Beckett have that sort of spicy time with Charlie but not together really worked. I just don't think I see Will and Beckett as a thing. Most of the times I can, but in this sort of instance I just didn't see it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was so excited for this book. It was one of my anticipated releases for 2025, and it did not let me down. I did get annoyed by Charlie for a little bit at first, but we'll ignore that. Book I wanted to show, I do have my little book journal too. I am very behind on my writing in my reviews, but I did colour in all my bookshelves. I have my little quick reviews, so I've updated all the ones I have so far. So obviously I've started with The Charlie Method, and I gave that a 4.5 stars. So the next one I read, so the second book that I read in March was Sunshine by Samantha Lee. I got it as an ARC book. This is my first ever Samantha Lee book, and I was really worried because when I read and know about new authors, I'm worried if I don't want to hate the book and then not end up wanting to read any more of their stuff. But I loved this book so much. It was so cute. It's like a small town romance. It's a single dad. So the book obviously follows Poppy and Dylan. Dylan is a father to his little girl Izzy. Poppy comes back into town after, I'm pretty sure it's after a breakup, but she moves back to town, and she's had a crush on Dylan forever, but she's never actually ever told him. And so when Poppy's best friend says that Dylan needs help with Izzy, she's like, what about Poppy? And it kind of just goes from there. It's such a beautiful sort of love story, and I just found it really cute. And it was the spice was so good. Samantha Lee can spice the spice. I was so shocked, but I really loved it. I did give it a 5 stars, and I'm pretty sure I gave it I would say a 2 chili spice. So the third book that I read, which was probably I would have to say probably my second favorite read of March, and that is A Wild Side by Elsie Silver. Guys, this is a huge contender for being one of my fave Elsie Silver books. Probably not will ever beat Wild Eyes and Heartless. Powerless is close behind, but whew, this book was great. So Wild Side follows Tabitha and Reese. It is a marriage and convenience, actually. Marriage and convenience. Tabitha's sister passes away, so she goes to pick up her son, her sister's son, so her nephew, and goes to find that her sister has actually put Reese into the will, having to look after her kid Milo if she passes. And it kind of it is an enemies to lovers, marriage and convenience. Just the way these two banter is just goddamn amazing. They have such good chemistry. The spice was like spicy. I did do a little bit of tabbing. I'm still getting used to my tabbing and stuff, so I didn't do as much tabbing as I wanted to. But I also loved the wrestling aspect of it. I do remember when Elsie was saying, picture like Roman Reigns from WWE, and I was like, done. Okay, I'm here. Automatic 5 stars. Not really, not for that reason, but I was hooked from start to finish. I read this book so damn quickly. I love Tabitha and Reese. I think their dynamic is so good. Like, even though they hated each other, you could see that spark there, and I was just like, yes, I'm here for it. I did give this one also a 5 stars, and I'd say like a 3 chili spice. The next book that I read was a part of a series that I think has become one of my favorite series ever now, and it is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. This is the first book in the Devil's Night series. I was worried about coming into this book series. I didn't know if I was going to love it or not, because I had taken time off from reading dark romance, and I was like, okay, we'll see how I go. Don't know if I'm going to love it, but I don't regret reading this book. So Corrupt is the first book. It follows Michael and Rika. It's sort of like past present sort of scenario. Rika, well, from what the group of friends think, they think Rika put them into jail for 3 years. They're all finally back out, and it's sort of like a revenge, sort of like a bully romance. It is like a brother's ex-girlfriend type. So Michael and Rika, the one thing that got me was everyone thought, from what I had seen on TikTok, everyone thought Michael was quite bland, but I could just see I don't know, I saw his personality shine a lot in this book, and it just made me really find the difference of like caring, and you can also be like, I'm here to you. It's just, I don't know, it was a great start to the series, and I enjoyed it so much. And yeah, so it's sort of like a pining longing as well, because Erica has always had a thing for Michael. He's known that, and he kind of plays with her a little bit too. It's just, there was so much happening. It was like chaotic. It is also an interconnected standalone, but there is a story flowed through all 4 books. So I really think you should read it as like in order, because I feel like it would give you more of an idea of what you're in for, you know? But I did give Corrupt 5 stars. I think I give it like a 3 chili spice. There was some interesting scenes in this book. I love it. And I also loved the friendship group in this. The ending was a little bit of a bit of a fractured friendship at the end. But you guys will have to read it to know more. Second book that I read was the 4th book was Hideaway. This is the 2nd book in the Devil's Night series. This follows Kai and Banks. I can't tell you who Banks is originally, because it kind of is one of the big plot points in this series, but Kai is a part of the friendship group. They're called the Four Horsemen. I meant to mention too. It's in the same group with Michael. You've got Michael, Kai, Will, and Damon. So this one, yeah, follows Kai and Banks. They're all sort of like a revenge sort of like plot to it, I find. There's also, yeah, past, present. The only thing I had issue with this book is I felt like it dragged on a lot. Like, it started off well, and in the middle was kind of like something gonna happen, and then the ending goes, oh, it's like a nice fast, sort of slow, and then fast pace. That's why I didn't give it as big of a high rating as I did with Corrupt. I love Kai and Banks though, their relationship, their chemistry. There's one scene where a spicy scene that just gets me, because when obviously they're going to do it, he finds something out and he's like, oh shit. It's just hilarious. This also is past and present tense, and I think I gave this a 4.5 stars and like a 3 chili spice. I did meant to mention in Corrupt there's a scene with Kai, Will, and Rika, and so in this book it's mentioned again, and Banks is just so iconic for it. We love an independent woman who will just bitch, who she will not shy away, and I loved it. The next book that I read was the 3rd book in the Devil's Night series, and that is Kill Switch. This follows Damon and Winter. This is sort of a sister's husband. They're all plotted revenge in each of the books. So it kind of follows that sort of revenge theme. So Winter is blind. I'll tell you that now. And knew who Damon was when they were younger. That's a whole sort of like past and present from them. So they knew each other when they were younger. She lost her sight. They always ended up blaming Damon for it, which is true. And so it kind of spans over that sort of past present timeline. Guys, this book was beautiful. The couple was beautiful. The book was a little bit, yeah. The book for me had the same reason as Hideaway. It was so good at the start, very like nothing really happened at the middle section. And then the end was just... With Damon's one, he got put away for sleeping with Winter. Videos that got put out showed that exact video as well. So that one went viral. So so Damon got put away for that. And so his revenge was to marry her sister. And yes, Damon is probably the most red flagged man out of all four of these guys. But he teaches her to drive by like using colors, and he's just, oh yes, he's a red flag, but we can fix it, is my motto for this whole series. I did give Kill Switch also a 4.5 stars and a 3 chili spice. There is another threesome scene in this, and it's just, I don't know, it's what is with this series and having friends, you know. There's a scene with Will and Damon too. Gets me every time. I just love it. You have to read the series. The next book that I read, no, actually, I lied. I read Conclave, which is a short novella. It's 4.5, so it's after the events of Kill Switch. I don't give novellas big ratings because it was only like 100 pages. So this one is kind of before Nightfall, after Kill Switch. They have this thing where they go out on the Pilton, which is Michael's family's yacht, and they all kind of just sit around at a table and they discuss because someone has disappeared and they're trying to figure out where he is. And then they have things to hash out. That was mainly of the novella, so I only really gave it a 3.5, and it was maybe like a 1 chili spice. Nothing really majorly happened, which gives me to the next book that I read, which is Nightfall by Penelope Douglas. This is the 4th and final book in the Devil's Night series. This follows Will and Emery, once again past present scenario. In the present, Will is in a place called Blackchurch. It is where famous or like really wealthy people can send their kids away who have done like, who they want to kind of hide away, you know, like they just want to kind of lock them up so they can't do any damage. So this is where Will has been for the past maybe year or so, and somehow Emery gets plopped into Blackchurch. I think it's Blackchurch. Yeah, Blackchurch. And so also, yeah, you got your past and present. Past obviously shows their relationship from college, from high school, how it kind of came to be. If you know, you know, there is a scene in this book from the past section where Will's dancing on a table and a particular song is set to be played on this, and it's literally become like a TikTok phenomenon. I love it. And then yes, obviously back in your present timeline, Emery doesn't know how she got there. She's trying to obviously survive because there is a bunch of other guys in sort of this house that can maybe or maybe not be trusted. And obviously they're trying to get, like, Rika, Michael, Kai, Banks, Damon are all trying to get them out. Well, more precisely, get Will out. And yeah, this book ended it so well. Because it's probably the biggest book in the series, for a 700-page book, it did not let down at all. Like, there was so much going on in every single page of the book, and it just really flowed out well. I feel like we got lots of information between Emery and Will. I hate Emery's brother so freaking much. There is a lot of, please track your trigger warnings for this series, because this one definitely deals with a lot of like domestic violence, I will say, in this book. And seeing her brother get what he got, and I will not feel bad for it. Her brother is a butthole and I don't like him at all. Emery, I felt bad. I cried for Emery because seeing what she went through in the past timeline just really broke my heart, and I just wanted to give her a hug. But enough rambling. So yeah, I did give Nightfall 5 stars, and it was like a 3 chili spice, because then again there was another spicy scene in a train. If you know, you know. I'm hungry, guys. So the next sort of book that I read was also another novella, and it is Fire Night. It is the last novella after Nightfall, called Fire Night. It kind of just shows years after, when like they've all gone past like everything that's happened through Nightfall. They've grown up, they've had kids. It's just a nice, beautiful sort of like ending to, I find, the series, besides obviously the main plot. And yeah, I won't get much into it because I feel like you need to read the other books as well and the novellas to understand. So I did give it a 3.5, and I maybe say like a 1 or 2 chili spice, because I don't think a lot of spice happened. I'm going to say it will be okay, so the 10th book that I read was God of Pain by Rena Kent. I'll say this now, I didn't like God of Malice. I read it I think a couple months ago. I don't know, something about it just, honestly, I started enjoying it at the first sort of halfway, and then I don't know, as I got into it, I just couldn't get into the characters. I felt it a little bit cringy. I felt like Killian was very stale, which apparently is an unpopular opinion because everyone loves God of Malice, but I definitely not in that majority. So I didn't read it. I did read it. I gave it like 2.5 stars. And I was like, I'm not going to read the series. But God of Fury, I've been seeing so many things about it. And so I was like, okay, I will try and read the other ones. And if I don't end up liking those ones, I'll just go read God of Fury. But I did read God of Pain. I enjoyed it actually. It was actually really good. So God of Pain follows Creighton and Annika. Annika is Jeremy's brother, who is a part of the King U University, and then you got the RAU, which is the Royal Elite University, and that's where Creighton is from. Annika is also in the friend group from where, like, in the RAU, so you've got Glendon, Cecily, Ava. She's friends with them. She always found it really hard to make friends because obviously her brother goes to the other college, but she wanted a normal life, so she moved there. It is a dark college romance. I don't know how to explain this book. It's like a Grumpy Sunshine. There is a plot in between all these books, even though it is an interconnected standalone, but you do get you can see sprinkles of each like couple through all the other books. I found anyway, not like a lot, but there's bits that you can kind of connect as you read it. And so there's a lot of, obviously the two universities do not like each other. So Jeremy Landon from the RAU likes to, he likes to have fun, and sort of Creighton gets in the middle of that, and there's a scene that kind of breaks up them for a while, and it was just, wow, yeah. I don't know, it's hard to explain that series to you guys because there's just so much that happens. But yeah, it's a dark college romance. It's very, very spicy, so check your trigger warnings. There is a lot of spicy sort of like kinks in there too, so I suggest you check your trigger warnings. Yeah. I think I gave God of Pain a 4.5 stars and like a 3 chili spice. It was very like, there was a lot of like drama going on too, and it was just, I enjoyed like the girl dynamic, like the girlfriend, like best friends. There is a little part where they do split up for a bit because of an issue that happens, but they do come back together, and it is just so beautiful. So that was the next book that I read. The next book that I read, and my favorite book literally of this whole year and this month, was God of Fury by Rena Kent. I did a bit of a skip. I did skip 2 books by going to God of Fury, because God of Fury is the 5th book in the series. When I read the second one, which was God of Pain, and then I kind of skipped the next 2 and went to God of Fury. So God of Fury is also a dark college romance. It is an romance. It is Brandon. If I was Brandon and Nico, Nico is best friends with Jeremy. Bran is related to Landon and is also the cousin of Eli. Yeah, cousin of Eli and Creighton. This one definitely was my most anticipated book literally ever. I had seen so many sprinkles of this book through TikTok. My friend always sent me videos, and I was worried. At first I was worried I wasn't going to love it because I had seen so many spoilers for it, and I was like, am I going to enjoy it still? Even though I've already seen so many of these bits, and I was like, okay, I'm into it. Let's go. I have not stopped thinking about that book, and I finished it on Sunday last week. It's been a whole week, and I'm still still here. I think about it every single day. I have been listening to the audiobook again, even though I've already read it. I've just been listening to the audiobook because it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful love story. It also shows a lot of trigger, like sort of big like trigger topics too, so check your trigger warnings. It's such a beautiful like love story. It's so funny because Nikolai is the most hilarious character I have ever met. He's literally such a pest. He won't give up until he gets Brandon, and it's just the dynamic between them two. You've got like your grumpy sunshine, he's like a golden retriever. Brandon's like very like posh, sophisticated, quiet, for reasons that you find out in this book. But it's just, it was so beautiful. There's a scene sort of at the end where Nikolai meets Brandon's parents. It's just so cute because it's like officially they're coming out, or Brandon's coming out, because Brandon always thought he was straight until he met Nikolai, and then it just went from there. I gave this book like a 6-star. It's literally like an infinity. If we could make an infinity, I would make it an infinity star. Sorry, it's my cat. Say hi. Say hi. Yeah, I gave it a 6-star, probably like a 3 chili spice. Nikolai comes up with the most unique nicknames ever. I'm obsessed with the name Lotus Flower now, and I need someone to call me that. But that book was so good. Okay, the 12th book that I read is the next book in the Legacy of God series. It was God of Wrath by Rita Kent. This one follows Jeremy and Cecily. Jeremy is best friends with Nikolai, and Cecily is best friends to Glyndon, Ava, and Annika. And this one again is very, very heavy on trigger warnings, very like spicy. There's not a lot of like story I can tell you guys without ruining sort of what it's all about, but essentially it's sort of like a kink awakening, I find. It's very spicy, very dark, sort of like a big good like push and pull. Cecily's very the mum of the group, and Jeremy's very chaotic, and he will kill for his woman, really. That's as much as I can give you. So I think I gave it, I did not love God of Wrath as much as I wanted to, mainly because I love Jeremy so much, but I just felt like the connection between the couple was very lacking a lot of the book, and the story was kind of very spicy heavy in this book. I didn't find there was a lot of storyline to it a lot of the time. That's why it kind of really went a bit down for me. Like, I would still recommend it, but it's not my favorite in the series, if you get what you mean. I love Jeremy as a whole. If we just had a whole Jeremy book, I would be okay. But I think I gave it a 3.75 stars and maybe like a 3 chili spice. And then the last book that I read for the month of March, because it literally ends tomorrow, was God of Pain, and that is the 4th book. It's the 4th book in the Legacy of God series. It follows Landon and Mia, which is funny to me because in God of Fury, it's Brandon and Nikolai. Nikolai is Mia's brother and Landon is Bran's twin. So it's funny because they're both really dating siblings when you think about it. God of Ruin follows sort of the same sort of kinks that God of Wrath follows. So check your trigger warnings. Mia is a selective mute. Something happened when she was younger. She got kidnapped, that's all I'm going to say, which then forced her to become mute. And Lan, who is literally probably like the most biggest instigator ever besides Nikolai from REU, he's sort of like the main head guy of sort of, they're not mafia, but they are sort of very high up. And Landon is sort of the leader there. He is completely different to Bran. He's very stoic. He does have a very, I think he's like a social narcissistic disorder or something. I can't remember the full name of it. Apologies. I will probably have it down here when I figure out what it is when I edit. Yeah, so he catches his eye on Mia, and it kind of just, goes from there. He ends up calling her his muse, which makes sense because Lan is a sculptor where Bran is more of a painter. I think I'm pretty sure I finished it in like 2 days. I started it on Friday, finished it today. I enjoyed it so much more than I was expecting, because once I read God of Wrath, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this book, because it's usually a hit or miss with me with this series. So I was worried I wasn't going to love it. But I really, really loved the dynamic for Mia and Landon. I felt like they balance each other out. Like Mia, despite being mute, is very like black cat energy. She dresses up in like dresses, bows, big ass chunky ass boots, and it's just, she's very like, she still has lots of fight to her, and I felt like they really bounced off each other well. And oh, it's just so cute the way Landon literally goes to her house, and just, you can see the difference from before when they were first sort of doing their thing to when they finally started in a relationship. And Landon, despite obviously who Landon is, he still shows that soft side to Mia, and it's just so beautiful. I think I gave it a 4.75 stars and a 3 chili spice. The reason it wasn't a 5-star is I just needed a bit more oomph to the story. It was just slightly lacking compared to God of Fury, which I gave 5 stars. Okay, so that is the end of my March reading wrap up. Yay! I'm actually really proud of myself this month that I read as much as I did. I feel like next month will be different. I am very happy with what I did, and I definitely read a lot of good series and found some good like books. I definitely read a lot of dark romance as opposed to like small town and sort of normal romance. I think I read like 9 dark romances and probably 2 small towns, and 2 small towns, and a sports romance. So it was definitely very dark romance heavy, which I think is slowly getting to me now. So I'm going to go back to my roots and do some more sort of romance next month, I think. But yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me for another video. It is so hot now. So I'm going to finish off this video by saying, if you guys would like to see any more videos by moi, please click on the little bell at the bottom of the screen. It'll notify you if you want to see any more of my videos or when I do post. I will also put my TikTok and my Instagram down here if you just want to follow me there as well. And I hope you guys have a great week. It is currently Sunday evening now, and so I'm gonna go have some dinner. So I hope you guys have a great day. Okay, bye.